Hello, welcome to my channel, and my channel is Two Legs Better. So that makes me two legs better. And welcome to my channel. I talk. I I have background in psychology and management, mostly negotiation. And so in negotiation, what you need to do is, you want to get a good outcome. You also want to be happy. Well, the first one is difficult to get, and the second one might be even harder. Same for fans, okay? And now, in about an hour or so, the college football playoff semi-final will start. Ohio State Buckeyes will be playing against the Texas Longhorns in Dallas. That is, I hope it's going to be a great game. But let's take a look at the official trailer, the hype video for Ohio State for now, and then I'll talk about happiness. Okay, happiness of fans. That's why it's called the happiness of the fans stand.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Ohio. Ohio.
Against the world.
Ohio against the world. When you hear about Ohio against the world, there's a reason why we say that. There's a reason why it's said. When you're Ohio State, everybody is chasing you because they want what you have. And every week, we have to defend it. That's the reason why it's called Ohio against the world. Let me make sure you guys all understand that. It's us against everybody else. That's it. And that's the mentality we all have to have.
Smith rolling free by Chicago. Ohio State. And he'll be dropped again. It's Cody Simon.
For the brotherhood. You gotta live it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. So Ohio versus the world right here now. Us against everybody. What else do you want? Like, what more do you want than this right here?
I'm gonna set the tone.
We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world. And it'll continue to be Ohio against the world.
We've been through too much, man. From the beginning to the end, let it rip. Because for your brother, because of what you've been through. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game. Dominate.
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished.
Okay, so I'm pumped up, but I'm a Buckeye fan, so I want to talk about the happiness of the fans still. Why? Because most of a large proportion of the Buckeye fans, not just those lunatic, fringe, whatever, a lot of fans are not happy. Well, how could it be, right? We have basically the most talented team in forever, Setso, Urban Meyer, and Jim Tressel. You don't have to trust me, but you have to trust these guys, right? And I concur with them. I would say before they said that, I said it to a few people already. I said that this is better than last year's team, and last year's team was already very talented. This might be the most talented team ever. But anyway, you don't have to listen to me, I guess. But almost everybody agrees that this Ohio State team is the most talented in a long time. It might be, among the most talented teams in recent memory, at least. But then, why are the fans still not happy? Well, because the team lost. Well, how many games? They lost twice. One is in an away game against then top 3 team in Oregon by 1 point in the last second, literally, by some whatever you call it, okay? And then that game was okay, you lost, and but then there's the second game that was against a terrible Michigan team. Well, now you look back, it's not as terrible as it looks, right? 8-5 is a decent record. It's not really a bad team, especially if you consider they beat Alabama and Ohio State in the last 2 games. But still, it's not a very good Michigan game. So the fans are extremely unhappy. This is really mind-boggling, because for most teams, if you lost only 2 games and you're ranked in number 6 in the country, and you have a chance to go to playoff and win the championship, most teams, the fans of most teams would be excited, very excited, but not Ohio State fans. But why though? Okay, I mean, in a way, you want to say sports is for happiness. You watch games, you want to be happy. But if you're only happy if your team wins, then there might be a problem. So, but as a psychologist, I want to explain a little bit why this is the case, why fans are so hard to please, are so unhappy, and what can we do as a fan? Myself included, I was a fan like that. When Buckeyes lose a game, it's a long time for me to be unhappy. Okay, but now things, well, we'll see. We'll see if I can play it better. So now, what we want to talk about is happiness, right? So that's H. You want happiness. You want to maximize your happiness, right? You want to make yourself happy. I remember back in 2001, when Ohio State had a terrible record, 7-5, but they beat Michigan in the last game. Okay, but everybody was happy. And now, okay, things kind of changed. But in 2003, the team had a very good record, but we also lost to Michigan. So, but fans were not that unhappy back then. Why? Because happiness equals to, yeah, it's going to be terrible that way. So equals E minus E. Well, you're just going to say, okay, what do you mean? Experience. The first E is experience. The second E is expectation. So it's very simple. Your experience minus your expectation is the level of happiness. If you go to a movie, you think it's a shady movie, it turned out to be okay, you feel happy. If you go to a great movie, you expect it to be great, chances are you're going to be disappointed. That's just the human nature. You think about all the sequels. Why it's very difficult to make a better sequel, make a sequel that satisfies people, even if objectively has better quality. It's because of the expectation. Many times people make sequels because the first movie is successful, but that also raises expectation. That kind of make it difficult for the second one to follow up. And same ideas here. The reason Ohio State fans were not happy, including myself, I wasn't that happy, is because of the expectation. And now, here's the thing though, the experience is something you almost have no control over. Whether your team wins or loses, the Buckeyes win or lose, you have no control. Literally, you have no control. Whatever you want to say, some people just, bump their chest and say, oh, this is unacceptable. Well, for most people, you can just say that you can break your own TV in your living room, but you can't really affect the decisions in the real life. And that's decided by the management and the people with money. If you're a billionaire, maybe, your emotion would count more. But still, for most fans, this is a constant. This is objective reality, is what happens. So there's nothing we can do about it. So we basically had to cross it out. Okay, so if we cross it out, what do we have? We have negative expectations, which means the higher your expectations are, the lower your happiness is going to be. you know, this is why I hate hearing people talk about, you know, championship or bust. You're going to be disappointed more often than not, because there's only one out of 135 teams can win the championship. You know, sure, you have a very good roster. Sure, you have a great, coaching teams, and everything seems okay, seems great. It doesn't guarantee you to win the championship, because other teams, there are other good teams, great teams as well. So you just can't guarantee that. And injuries happen, things happen. Like in the first Oregon game, in the first quarter, the left tackle got injured, had to be replaced during the game. You know, that's like a huge blow. And then you have to, juggling the O-line and things like that. Whatever that is, so that's objective reality. So what you can do is to manage your expectation. Now here's the thing. What about the expectation? Who controls your expectation? You could say, okay, my expectations are controlled by myself. Think again, okay? Think again. Your expectation is controlled mostly actually by the media, by like ESPN, the talking heads, and the people on the internet, and people like that, because they are going to come out and tell you. And nowadays, for a lot of these people, they do not just offer opinions, they offer evidence-based opinions. They give you specific numbers telling you how many 5 stars and 4 stars on the team and compared to other teams, and how great this team is. Those are all good, okay, all valid. But the thing is, it influences your expectations. You think about Notre Dame. Notre Dame had a 13-win streak, okay, the longest alive win streak in college football. But not many people talk about that, because the media think it's they are done. They don't really have a good chance, and there's nothing good to talk about. But in the meanwhile, they won many games, and now they won the semi-finals, and suddenly they become a big deal, and everybody is talking about that, and now their expectations are higher now. But for Ohio State, the terrible thing is, at one point I thought losing to Oregon was a good thing, because it tempers people's expectations and lower them. But because of the way it was lost in the last second, and somehow it turned out to be a positive, and people, I wouldn't be surprised. All those people, all those voters will put Ohio State above Oregon if Oregon loses a game. Really, it's just that easy, because people still think Buckeyes are better. It's a way, it's all these circumstances, all those things. But the thing is, it's a loss. You need a terrible loss to kind of bring you down to the ground, and to make you realize we are all starting from the same place. In any game, you go into the game 0-0. So that's all we have, okay? So, and then you want to win, you need to win. You need to 7 points, 3 points, and 1 point each time to get it. And what really matters is, at the end, you have more points than your opponent. That's literally what just really matters. And a lot of other things could happen to affect that. So it's just so it was not too surprised until after the Michigan game, the Michigan loss, that the team realized that they have to let go of all these things and to perform to their level. Even so, the last 2 games, they dominated, obliterated, Tennessee and Oregon. Oregon as the undefeated number 1 team in the nation. It's like they don't really belong to the same field. At least it appears to be, okay? But what it does is it raised the expectations again, and people already start talking about, either the winner of this game will definitely win the national championship. It's like disrespecting Notre Dame. They are also there, they are not going to give it to you. And the other is, there's no way Texas is going to hang with Ohio State. Sure, if you play on paper, if you play by all those opinions, the posters, whatever, then why do we even play the game? So if you are a Buckeye fan, if you want to manage your expectations, ignore the media, ignore their opinion. Well, you should say, oh yeah, but they are everywhere, I have to listen to them. Yeah, you can listen to them, but try to get the facts, not their opinions. You know, even you think about it, if you buy into what the media says, you're going to think just the Buckeyes just show up and win. It's not going to be like that, okay? Texas has a great team. You think about it, it's a great team. It's especially the defense. You know, DBs are great, and they have a Thorpe winners, and they have a great defensive line and great linebackers. It's a great defensive team. So the Buckeyes offense is not going to be, you know, just a smooth sailing, you know. And Howard only threw one interception in the last 2 games, but who knows? You know, this might be the most difficult of them all. If you look back at the last 2 games, I know, you know, I don't want to take any credit away from the Buckeyes team, okay? But Ohio State lost several critical playmakers very early on. James, the running back, and Johnson, and also the other, Edward, the wide receivers. They lost these key players. And even Tennessee, they lost their leading rusher, and then, you know, their quarterback was the only person that really kind of playing in a way, you know. So all those things are kind of are making Ohio State's case. And the Buckeyes were fortunate to have very few, you know, bad news in those games, and even for some bounces are also lucky to the Buckeyes. So if you consider all of those, they were dominating performances. There's nothing, you know, it was dominance, but also it could go the other way easily. You know, there are a lot of things went right in those games for the Buckeyes. Also, a lot of things went wrong for the other teams. But in this game, you don't know that. Maybe it will be the same. You know, Ohio State Buckeyes will be really, really on fire coming out, or it could be difficult. People could get sick. People could get you know, injured, unknown injury or something. You know, and maybe a bounce here and there. You never know. So this is my plea to that. I said your expectation on one hand is decided by the media, and on the other hand is decided by me. That's you. You look in the mirror, it's yourself. Okay. Now, what about me? All right. That is, you be realistically confident and have a multiple personality. What do I mean by multiple personality? First, you expect the best. Yeah, I think my Buckeyes is going to dominate because the defense is too good to let them score too many, and the offense is too good to be stopped by the Texas, even if they are good. And Texas, you know, they didn't really play anybody great offenses too many. They only played Georgia twice and lost, and you know, they didn't really do well against Arizona State. All those things. So I'm confident. I'm reasonably confident. But you also need to be realistic. It's going to be a game. It's going to be a 60 minutes game. It's most likely won't be as easy as it looks. So if you have that, and then your expectations are managed, and you will be exhilarated if the Buckeyes played great, like they did against Oregon or Tennessee. You know, why am I talking about this? Because in negotiation, it's the same thing. In negotiation, we talk about. In negotiation, I talk about you want performance and you want happiness. But here's the problem. You think about it, it also applies to your company. If you are a manager, if you're a CEO, and you have a employee, right? So who would perform the best? The people who have the highest expectations, strive for the highest expectations. You know, your star employees, you have high hopes for them, and they work hard for their high aspirations, and they are more likely to have higher achievements. But ironically, these are also the people who tend to be unhappy because their expectations are too high. If the person strives to be number one, they are not going to be happy as number two. Okay? If you strive to be, say, okay, just mediocre, and you'll be happy if you're number two, you'll be exhilarated you're number two, right? So it's the same thing. You got to understand, in order to perform, you have to have high aspirations, because that you pursue the goal, you give everything. But the thing is, we are not players. We are fans. We are watching. There is nothing we can do. Literally nothing we can do. You know, unless you are in the stadium, maybe you can yell and stuff like that. You know, but that's a different thing. But for most fans, there's nothing we can do. So what you can do is to manage your expectations. You know, reasonably, it should be great, but it probably won't be as easy as I thought. So that's just kind of a little bit my thought on this, and hopefully, you know, that makes your hope that make you enjoy the game a little bit more, and I hope I can talk more positives after the game. You know, if Buckeyes have a, you know, let's just hope Buckeyes have a great game. So go Buckeyes, and